Hey everyone, and welcome to the 69th episode of We're All in the Same Boat. I'm your host, Luke Roxwold, and today I am here with Austin.
Hey.
Shayne.
What's up, everyone?
And Caleb.
Happy 69.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but yay, 69. Never mind.
Nice.
Welcome to the podcast. Nice. As always, you can leave us a review on iTunes and SoundCloud. Actually, I don't know if you can leave a review on SoundCloud, but on iTunes, all you have to do...
comment. You can leave comments.
Yes, you can. You can easily leave us a review on iTunes by just going to the iTunes app. Sorry, not the iTunes app. The podcast app on the iPhone. Type in We're All in the Same Boat. Click on our podcast, scroll all the way to the bottom, and just hit the 5 stars. Super easy. We would love it if you did that. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at WAITSB Podcast. We do a lot of polls and questions, and we're getting a lot of interaction with you guys on there, and it's really fun. So if you want to connect with us on the podcast, you might even get mentioned if you say something funny. Follow us on there. Also, I wanted to say, all of you who have been listening to this podcast, good job, because we just hit 350 views per month the last 3 months. So on average, we're doing awesome. You guys are all supporting us, and now that we've got the Instagram kind of going, everyone seems to be really ramping up the interaction and listening to us. And we got a lot of comments on the last episode. A lot of people liked it. A lot of people didn't like things about it. I actually kind of like that because it means people are getting invested. Yeah, some people didn't like the feminism episode.
Luke, is that across like all the platforms or?
I think it's all the platforms. So it goes through
cool.
By the way, you can check us out on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Google Play. Not Spotify, because Spotify, the way they do it is really annoying, and I can't figure it out. Like, you have to upload it separately, and that's gonna mess up my analytics, and I just can't be bothered right now. I'm trying to do too many things, and I have a life. So, gentlemen, welcome to the podcast.
Hello.
How's it going,
hola.
everybody? Hey, Shayne.
It's going.
I think Nicki Minaj is probably looking for a podcast at this point to be on after Money dropped from Cardi B. So just so you know.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, Nicki, if you would like to come on the Pop Talk podcast, we will have you anytime, any day. So
it's like, I'm so glad Nicki Minaj listens to We're All in the Same Boat.
Right?
That's great.
Me too.
It's just like at this point with all that Cardi's got going on and with her major shot at Nicki on her most recent drop, Money, I just think that what else is Nicki doing at this point?
Wait. What happened?
I talked about this on my podcast a little bit. That song is not good. That new Cardi B song.
What did she say?
I don't know what she said. It's not good, so I didn't listen to it.
She lifts a whole verse, or at least a bunch of bars. I don't think it's a verse. It's like a series of bars off of Nicki. And basically, I got to find out what the exact wording is, but essentially, doesn't plagiarize it all, makes it her own, but it's such a major shot at Nicki, and it's for a lot of people the death knell.
Well, my opinion is that Cardi B is in no caliber close to Nicki Minaj in any form. So Cardi really doesn't want to take on this battle because Nicki is already prepared to rip her to shreds, and she doesn't want that. So Cardi B needs to just go enjoy being a mother.
Though. Those queen numbers.
It's not about. Yeah, but it's not about.
I was
numbers.
Just saying though,
when you get to a certain
Cardi
point.
B,
it's kind of numbers though.
Isn't she getting pretty big right now?
You can't really compare. You can't really compare an artist who just came out last year to an artist who has been doing this for 10 plus years.
Well, it's almost think of where Nicki was when she dropped Pink Print, and where she was in her career versus where Cardi is in her career for the amount of time she's been around. I feel like Cardi's winning.
I mean, if you want to compare, I still don't really feel like you can compare because they're also two different eras within how music works. Like when Nicki first came out, there was no such thing as streaming. Cardi B comes up in the streaming era. It's a totally different comparison in terms of numbers. But even if you look at it Nicki was still doing bigger numbers than Cardi was when Nicki first came out. She didn't get like the hit songs. Like Nicki's never had a number one or anything, which I think is ridiculous. But like, I know Cardi just can't rap like that. And at the end of the day,
But like track for track, like if you look at this single album that Cardi dropped and then her mixtapes before.
Yeah, I gotta look up this person because I don't even really
you don't know Cardi
who,
B. You don't know.
I know who
her
I've
ASMR
seen.
video that she just dropped
Hold up.
is great.
I haven't watched that yet.
I have
but I heard it's
seen
funny.
her pictures. That's it.
Cardi.
It's possible that I've heard a song by her, but I guess she's new. She is my
Well,
age.
she came out last year. She blew up last year, but she's had like popular songs all throughout the year. So I'm sure in
Yeah.
some
She's
capacity
Minute.
you've heard one of her songs.
Is
But you
this
look at,
is this who the kids are listening to these days, you guys? Is this it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of who everyone's listening to.
Yeah, I'm sure I've listened to her
Pretty,
songs. You
she's
just
pretty
not known it.
popular. Like,
Not everyone.
I mean, like what I'm saying is she's surprisingly pretty popular, like to a large demographic of people.
I know.
Well, okay, so I'm looking at
Whoa,
the.
okay, yeah. Hold up. This is the controversy. Cardi B caused controversy after throwing one of her shoes.
Oh yeah,
at
she
and
tried
attempting
to fight Nicki.
Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj at a party. I didn't. Maybe you said that and I just missed it.
No, I didn't say
it
that
said
now, but yeah, she tried to fight
So
her.
she later stated that Minaj liked comments about her as a mother. Wait, what? She liked them.
So Luke, let me explain. So
What?
allegedly, Nicki's denied this already, but allegedly, Nicki liked a tweet or like an Instagram comment about someone commenting on Cardi B's mothering abilities or capabilities, and Cardi didn't like that, so she tried to beat her up at Fashion Week in New York.
I love that she literally threw shit. Oh, wait. Okay. What did I say on the Kanye
Cardi
episode?
got the bump on her head.
What did I
Yeah,
say on the
she got-
Kanye?
Guard.
What did I say on the Kanye episode?
What did you say in the Kanye?
I said it.
of things.
I said it over and over and over again.
I don't know. I'm still mad about the whole SNL thing. So I don't remember anything else.
Marketing.
Oh, marketing. Yes.
Maybe.
Oh yeah, she
I
had
don't know.
No, she.
I feel
yeah.
like with Cardi's background,
has
though,
a
and where she
huge
comes from, it might be a
team.
bit more than that.
No, she has a huge team that is like hell bent on taking down Nicki. So like they're just causing this whole non-existent controversy, and it is for marketing because it's like, oh,
This
Yeah.
this is why I like
But
listening to bands that are
it's
not
just-
popular. I don't have to worry about any of this marketing.
it's like
crap.
it's like so stupid. It's like, why can't we just make music and we just put out our music and we just have a good time?
Well, sure. So let's if you compare music though, so like Nicki in the early parts of her career, I mean, you can talk about streaming and stuff, and that is definitely a conversation worth having.
That's
but
just
how
in
good
terms
was
of
Pink
number.
Friday?
That's
Like Pink
in-
Friday
in ter-
had Roman's Revenge, Moment for Life, maybe. Like it was kind of like a bubblegum pop / decent
I mean-
debut. But like you look track for track, and Cardi B's album, I mean, you can talk numbers and hits and stuff,
Well,
but like
I
even
think
just their
I think
content.
they're two
Does-
different.
you know,
I think they're
does-
two different types of artists
Does
as well.
album
Like,
quality
they don't make
even
the
really
same type
matter
of music.
anymore?
Hey, yeah, let's
Wait,
keep this
what?
organized. Let's keep this organized. What'd you say, Austin?
Does album quality even really matter anymore? I mean,
It matters. It matters
hang
to
on,
me
I
as a
heard-
music
I heard-
fan.
Hold on, Shayne, hold on. What'd you say, Austin?
I heard this was a comedian who said this. I can't remember who it was, but it almost made me wonder if he had a point where he said albums aren't as good anymore as they used to be because we have CDs and MP3s as opposed to records. So on a record, an album had to be good because every time you had to listen to the whole thing.
The quality, yeah.
So, if there's just one song that you like, you're not going to waste your time on that record. Whereas now you can have just one good song and the rest can just be a bunch of filler. So, because
Shayne, what do you think?
What do I think of what album quality decreasing throughout the decades?
Just what he's saying.
Oh,
Like, do you agree?
I like personally, I don't agree. I'm an album person. I'll always be an album person as
so
long
am
as they
I.
exist. But in terms of like the age that we live in currently, no, it's not that important because no-name people get one song that people listen to a lot on Spotify, and next thing you know, they're winning a Grammy. And so it's like it doesn't really matter in terms of success, but in terms of credibility and longevity, I think it does matter, the quality of your music. I think it just depends on what you want, what you're trying to do. Are you trying to like make music because you love to make music and you're a musician, or you know you can make a lot of money doing this by kind of just doing, you know, the trendy thing, or just, you know, whatever, and you just make a bunch of money. So I think it's like,
Sure.
And I think that's the difference between like Cardi B and Nicki Minaj. That's what I don't like to compare them, because I enjoy them both. I don't like to compare them because I don't think there's anything to compare.
Well, I mean, there's bars. There's
Cardi doesn't have bars because
beats.
Cardi doesn't write
Cardi's
bars.
Do you hear Bickenhead?
I love Bickenhead, but Cardi...
Bickenhead was great.
But Cardi's not writing these things.
Every song she's not writing.
I mean, I'm sure she contributes, but like she's not a lyricist, and she's even said that herself. She doesn't care about being a lyricist. She cares about making songs that are going to be good in the club so she can make money. She just said that on Instagram Live
I care about
like 2 days
money.
ago.
So Cardi B just doesn't, and Nicki does write her own songs.
Cardi's not a rapper. She's a performer. She's an entertainer.
All right,
She's a great
I'm
one
gonna
at
have-
that.
Hold on. As
But
someone
Nicki
who's
is-
not at all
but
into
Nicki's
this
a
genre
lyricist.
of music, I have to
But
ask
Nicki
the
is a
question of,
lyricist.
because as someone who's not at all into this sort of thing, that's what they all look like to me. They're all in it for the money. So I guess
I
change
mean,
my mind.
yeah, to some
I mean,
degree,
anyone's in their
everyone's in
career
it for the money. You don't,
Yeah.
you don't want to not make money.
Guys, let's keep this organized. Caleb, what were you saying?
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, anyone's into their career for the money. I mean, I'm sure all of us here who work and have jobs are in it for the money, like
Right.
obviously. But like, if you look at, you know, okay, taking away the may or may nots in regards to who may or may not have contributed or written, because I just don't know the ratios, and I can't comment on that. But what I can comment on is just the pure content at the end of the day of Invasion of Privacy, Cardi B's first like major album debut, versus Pink Friday. Pink Friday was one of the albums that would have been made for the streaming age. I mean, it's long, it's bloated, it's got so many tracks on it. It's like, it reminds me of Post Malone's most recent album, Beer Bongs and Bentleys. You know, and that fits into the conversation of the streaming age, right? Because it's like songs kind of bleed into each other. They're made literally. You could have probably had half the songs on there, but because of streaming numbers and data analytics, we really want to have as many songs as possible that sound as similar to each other, so that listeners who drive around in their cars with Bluetooth, you know, iPhones connected to their radios, can kind of just listen through and not think about the tracks changing. And yet Spotify's like, wow, you've got all these hits. Anyways, Nicki Minaj's Pink Friday seems a lot more like it would fit that than, you know, Cardi B's pretty short Invasion of Privacy album, with like 11 out of 13 of those songs being just bangers with a B.
Okay, I'm trying to think of how to make this. I don't know anything about these people.
Me neither.
Nothing. Like,
We can move on. Sorry, I just.
I'm
I mean,
so
it's
invested.
interesting. I think. Hold up.
See,
I think
this
the
is why,
shoe thing.
This is what I need. I really
This
need.
is why Shayne
Caleb.
has a podcast.
I know, and I need Caleb to come on my podcast, because then we can really like.
I
talk.
would love to.
You both live in Virginia.
Yeah,
you can
I mean,
do
I'm
it.
in
You can
Nova,
make-
but like we could do it.
You have friends in Southern Virginia. Well,
Oh, yeah.
this is off the podcast. Yeah, have them on. I'll listen to it. This is my podcast. What are we doing?
We're promoting mine. Thanks.
That's true. That's true. You're welcome. Did you guys hear anything about the lottery?
It's 1.6 billion, right? We were just talking about it at work yesterday.
Well, it was one, I think.
Well,
Okay, we don't know if it was one.
Oh.
I mean, the lottery people, Mega Millions people, know that there was a winning ticket sold in South Carolina. But South Carolina is also one of those states where legally you can be anonymous. It's one of like 7, I think, states where you can be anonymous. So we'll probably never know. Virginia.
That would suck if you can't. Wait, why would, like, in some countries some states you're forced to be not anonymous?
Almost every single one, yeah.
But
Virginia's one of
really?
them.
So
Yeah.
like if you win, you have to. They just announce it.
Legally, your
I was
name,
just talking to people
where
at
you
work
live.
about this, and it made me go,
That
I
would
don't
suck.
want to win the lottery, because it's like let's just paint a big target on this guy's face.
Yeah, I feel like winning the lottery like that would just be horrible because then you would have no friends left. Because you would never know who's like a real friend and who isn't.
And everyone you love gets a target painted on their backs. Because I was thinking, everyone does the whole "what if I win?" And I did buy one single ticket because I was like, what if? But 1 in 300 million chances. But I was like, I could immediately, if I won, not tell anyone, go be on an island for a month or something. But everybody there's Facebook and stuff out there. It's easy to find your family.
Well, think about this. Okay, so you win, and then very quickly everyone figures out who you are and who who your family is, and then they'll be like, "Hey, friend of so and so who won the lottery, can you talk to him? I just need this one thing, and then that'll be my big break, and I just need it would never go away until you just like lost all the money." And so you're just miserable, and then you have to spend it all.
Or you have what happened to you that apparently happened to this guy that one of my coworkers was telling me about, where he won the lottery, and before he even got to cash the check, he was murdered.
Ooh.
So,
Yep.
Where'd the money go?
Nobody knows. I'm assuming the murderer cashed it.
What? I feel like you would know who. Wouldn't you be able to check where the check was cashed?
I don't know. I just heard the story from somebody else and was like, yeah, that sounds like a good reason to not play the lottery.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's there in Virginia. I don't know about Washington State, but for sure in Virginia, there's no way around it not ruining maybe, but like you'd have to detach yourself from everyone you knew. And, like Luke said, nobody, not even family, could be trusted anymore. And that would just be such a paranoid sort of life to live.
Yeah, when you get a lot of money.
Exactly.
I'm like pulling up articles on it now. Shoot, these stupid ads, stupid websites. I hate all these news sites now. It's like, hey, you have ad blocker running. It's like, yeah, I do. Actually, that's not what happened right now. But they have like little ads that run, and you can't get rid of them, and they're really.
I call that ad rape.
Yeah, well, it kind of is. It's like, surprise! Oh, man. Okay, so this whole article is talking about, can you buy happiness? How do you deal with your loved ones after you win? Finding self-control. Because it's like, once you have the money, I wonder how hard it would be to spend that much money. It just depends.
I wouldn't know what to do.
Depends how many yachts you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. That's true. I really wouldn't know what to do.
Honestly, would have a building at William and Mary named after me. So, become a major donor, probably create a foundation for like something I care about, real estate, investments.
So here's a scenario, okay? You guys win $1 million and you have 10 days to spend it, but after you spend it, whatever you spent, no, hold up. Wait.
Oh, wait.
Not finished. You have 10 days to spend it, but only 10 days to enjoy whatever it is, and then it goes away.
I don't
so like
understand.
If I pay off my student loan debt, does my student loan debt come back?
This is like some Cinderella stuff. Like,
I'm trying to think like if you bought like a yacht, then you could only use the yacht for like 10 days.
So it's like if you had the chance to enjoy anything you wanted, basically for 10 days.
Because people will say, if I say that, then they'll say,
put it in the bank.
That's the problem. Is people will say, oh, well, I would buy something that's worth the exact amount and then just sell it afterwards. And it's like, no, the idea is that it's almost like I don't know how the student debt, is that what you would spend it on?
Well, I mean, like that would be the first thing I did.
Honestly,
that
yes,
off.
Same.
That's fair.
William and Mary's not.
What if
not cheap?
What if it's like dental stuff? Would that be like I got a bunch of fillings?
All of a sudden it's like no, the teeth.
Life in the free market. Man.
Yeah,
but like going straight materialist. I mean, it would be cool to like get some gear and do some crazy base jumping or something I'd never do in real life, like normally. But like,
yeah, kind of like when someone buys you a gift you would never buy yourself type thing.
Which is the cool thing about gift cards, by the way. It just hit me the other day. I used to hate gift cards, and now I love them because there's such like meaning behind them.
Oh no, I hate no. Okay,
All right, let's talk about this.
Because I think gift cards are horrible.
All right, cool. All right, so I'll just give my opinion real quick, and then because I want to hear yours. For a while, I was like, well, if you give me a gift card, just give me money. Like, let me choose how to spend this, however much money you spend it on. But like, I realized that gift cards give you money. It's almost like found money that you would never have otherwise. Because if people are going to give you money for stuff that you need, it's like, I'm not going to give you $100, Luke, like for your birthday. Be like, hey, Luke, pay your rent. Like, no. But like, if I know that, I don't know, you shop at LL Bean or whatever, and I'm like, you know what? This is a place he likes a lot. He might have a budget that's tight. Like, here, take $100 and, you know, spend it on yourself at a thing that you really like. And it shows that like, I know you enough to know what you would really like to spend money on, and you can't, or maybe you just won't because of whatever reason. Like for me, you know, Assassin's Creed Odyssey just dropped. Red Dead Redemption 2 is about to drop. Whole bunch of games out. They're all $60 each. Wood Hill for just like some random cash that can only be spent at
So
GameStop.
you like the idea of it like having no excuse, being like, well,
Right.
I can't spend it
Just give me
anywhere
the
else. I
money.
might as well spend. No, I get the theory, but the problem I have with it is it's like someone gives me a gift
hate
card
it.
and I either never spend it, and so then it's like, great, now we both just got nothing. Or
Well, that's the
you
thing,
could
yeah.
you could lose it, or it's like I don't know. I guess I just know how much money businesses make off of gift cards
Okay.
that people don't use, and so it just seems like, oh, I don't know. I was talking to someone about a gift card once, and he was like, hey, I've got a $20 gift card for Target. Do you want it? Can I sell it to you? And I was like, you can sell it to me for $15. And then he was so shocked that I suggested that. He was like, you're trying to rip me off. And it's like, yeah, you got me. I was trying to rip you off. No, it's because I'm going to spend $15 that I can use anywhere to get $20 that I can use in one place. Like why would I spend $20 to get $20 that I cannot use as well? That doesn't make any sense.
Kind of the whole point of gift cards is that you give it to somebody. You don't buy it for yourself.
Well, and the idea is that I'm losing money or losing freedom with my money by buying his gift card from him.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Or if it's a place you shop at, like Starbucks, for example. I'm a big Starbucks guy, and there's a Starbucks right by my work. I always go on break. And I was administering the SAT recently, and the mom, who was like, hey, thanks for taking your Saturday to do this for my kid, because it was like a accommodated SAT type thing. So it was like 6 hours. And so she gave me like $50 to Starbucks. And I was like, now I can go to Starbucks and not spend my money that I would have spent there anyways, a place that I really like. I think that if it's a gift card to a place you would never go to, though, that's the worst. Like people who don't know you and give you gift cards, get out of here. Give me a gift card only if you know me. Otherwise, money, please. Or honestly, don't give me a gift. We don't need to give gifts. We're adults.
I have a gift card for Borders. I
Oopsie.
I think I can use that at... Well, actually, I'll just tell a story. So I was hanging out with some people from work, and they saw the card in the bottom of my car because I was like, why haven't I used this yet? So they looked up Borders online, and they were like, oh, Borders was a book company.
No, that's the other thing, too. If the company goes away. The problem is if I had $1,000 and then someone exchanged that $1,000 for a $1,000 gift card, now all of a sudden I have $1,000 that I can only spend in one place. So I'm technically losing value.
Yes, but that's assuming you had that money to begin with, which in the case of someone giving you a gift card, you didn't.
Well, but they lost value. They basically bought a gift that was less valuable than what they had before.
Maybe, unless you're going to use it.
See, on the other end of things, kind of the one problem I have with gift
Well,
cards.
let me just say this one more thing.
So you guys finish your thing first.
Technically, it is less valuable.
Technically.
Yes.
But it's the
What's
thought
the
that counts.
inflation on gift cards? There's inflation too. It's worth its same amount of money, and then items would go up.
Yeah.
So
I
the
mean,
value would
but, like,
inflate.
don't keep gift cards. Like, spend them when you get them.
That's right.
I
I just
don't know. I
collect.
mean, it's like
I keep them for their currency value later.
balls. Yeah. No, I mean, they're obviously not valuable. There's a machine at my grocery store that buys your gift cards from you. And it, like, I had that $50 gift card that I mentioned was worth like $23. So I was like, okay, GameStop. Like, you know, I'm obviously going to use the Starbucks gift card. And I did. And I got a lot of drinks for free. It was cool. And it's like,
fair.
if you gave it to me to a clothing shop, like, you know, when I budget my monthly budget, you know, I have money set aside for things, and then a gift card comes along. It's like, hey, let's add money to your budget for this specific thing that you might like. And that's the thing, though, about gift cards is they have to be about things that you enjoy. They have to be a friend or someone you know knowing what you like. People who give people Target gift cards, get on out of here. I ain't got time for you. Like, no joke. Yankee Candle, no sir. What?
You got a Yankee Candle? You got a Yankee Candle gift
I
card?
did once for like my 15th birthday.
Was it a
was
guy or a
weird.
girl who gave it to you?
It was like some like kid's mom who was like, "You're gonna appreciate
Are
this
you
in 10
kidding?
years." It's
Are
been
you
more
kidding?
than 10 years.
Are you kidding me? You don't still have it, do you?
No, it was a long time ago.
What can you buy at Yankee Candle besides candles?
I don't know, souls probably.
All right. Well,
More
mental
candles.
note, everybody listening, do not buy us a Yankee Candle gift card. Not a good idea. Not a fan. What were you going to say, Austin, before we start going back and forth?
To some extent, the problem I have with gift cards is, to me, it feels like gift cards are kind of the gift that you get for people you don't know. Like, oh, well, I don't know what he actually wants, so I'll just give him a gift card for
I agree.
X location. Whereas, to use the GameStop example, where it was like, well, I really want Red Dead or Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's like, well, if I really knew you, instead of getting you a gift card for it, I just get you the game.
Get the games.
You make a good point.
I agree. I agree 100%. So personal story kind of. My family has been giving me gift cards like for my birthday and Christmas for the most part for the past many years. And I always say, I'm like, okay, but you guys know what I like. You guys know what my interests are. You know what I'm into. I'm into 3 things. I'm only into 3 different things. That's music, that's like film related stuff, and Kingdom Hearts. Like, you guys know this already, so I don't know why it's so difficult to like just give me something that I would like, and that I could actually use. So when I get gift cards, like when I'm the only person at Christmas that gets gift cards and everyone else gets these nice gifts, I'm like, okay, but like I made a list. I don't really understand. Why am I getting gift cards still? And I hate gift cards though the most because I usually like buying one big thing. I don't like buying multiple things. So I don't like going, okay, I have 5 gift cards that I need to buy this one thing with. When you could just give me the money. So that's what I tell my family now. Just give me the money. I don't want the gift card. If you give me the gift card, I'm going to be offended.
Facts. All right. Okay. So maybe I can bring all this to an agreement here. Can we agree that if you moderately know somebody, if you moderately know somebody, that like a gift card might be a good idea? But obviously, yeah. To Austin's point,
a gift card's a good idea if you know like what I think Luke had said before. If you know that person like goes to that place, like they go to that place, then I think it's fine. But if you're just giving a random gift card to like the Yankee Candle, for example, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Well, to sort of reach across the aisle, there's a part of me though that is also like, well, I understand that maybe family doesn't know the nuance of the thing that I want, so it's like, well, I want this game, but you don't know what game it is because it's obscure, so just give me a gift card so I can get it, kind of thing.
Sure.
Sometimes.
And yeah, I think about my fiance. She's a huge Sephora girl, and like she knows what's good for her in Sephora, and like she can give me a list all she wants, but she knows like her tone and she knows the certain creams, and sometimes you want to go in the store and test it yourself. So it's like, give me that money, or that shmoney that I would have, that I'd be paying anyways, but like let me go in and get it myself. So I think it varies. I think that
should we call it?
I just
funny?
say give me the
It's
cash.
Fake money.
Did you guys see this? I know we've talked about NPC. Fine, whatever, Shane.
NPC versus PC.
Yeah. So we've talked about this on the podcast before, where the idea behind an NPC is like in a video game where
It's a non-player character.
Non-playable character.
Hold up. Okay, so like I think most people on this who listen to this podcast have played a video game at least once, probably. A non-playable character is like a character that has like one job. So as an example, maybe in the video game you can go into a coffee shop and there's this guy that's working at the coffee shop, and in the game, that character is just programmed to just be at Starbucks. That's all he does. There's no part of the game where that character leaves the Starbucks and goes home and goes to sleep and hangs out with his friends on Friday. No, the only reason that character exists in the game is to be that guy at Starbucks. It might seem like a normal person, but he's really just there to be the Starbucks guy. So the idea that people are talking about is that most people in the world are non-playable characters. And there's only a set few of playable characters, which for me, I know I'm a playable character, but that's what non-playable characters would also say, so none of you guys would know whether or not that's true or not. But this meme that came out had two different sides, the playable characters and then the non-playable characters. So it's so funny because it's like the playable character, like the real people, is like plays Japanese games and likes Super Mario 64, and then the non-playable character is like plays Western games and likes Super Mario Sunshine. And then it's like non-playable character plays on easy, And then my favorite one though is this ties into some of the stuff that we've talked about before, but it says the non-playable character likes to watch Sony movies. Got him. Which you guys didn't see Venom. Did anyone see Venom, by the way?
Not yet. My sister says it's great.
No, Michael didn't. Whatever.
Oh yeah, you guys were gonna go see that.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I haven't. Well, I mean, I'm sure it's the same for him. I haven't stopped doing something since. I just haven't had time. Like I have zero time.
That's fair. But so non-playable characters, I think
I did see another movie though, so whatever.
What movie?
What'd you see?
I saw A Star Is Born for the podcast.
Oh,
And because I wanted to
the
see
Lady
it.
Gaga one?
Yeah.
Was it good?
So, LOL. So for the last podcast, when I said, yeah, guys, just go see both movies like me, and I only went to see the one that people were arguing about. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. The music was really good. That was probably the best part. Yeah, and Bradley Cooper, I said props to him for his first time directing and then acting in it, and then he sang, which I was surprised that he was really good at, and he also played like multiple instruments as well. So like for wearing so many hats, I thought it was really good. And like the story wasn't all over the place because he was doing a lot of different things. It all streamlined pretty well together. But yeah, if you want my full opinions, go check out the podcast.
Yeah, shouts out to your I don't know the ethics of like talking about other podcasts on a podcast, but yeah, that episode was good. Also just shouts out to Bradley Cooper for directing a movie that it's the 4th time it's been remade.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Oh, really?
And it still like feels fresh and good, and the story feels like maneuverable and
that was actually the first time.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was the first time I've seen A Star Is Born. Actually, I've never seen any of the other ones.
Didn't
Judy
you
Garland
see?
one's great.
Didn't you see? What was the movie you said you really liked, Caleb, just recently?
Ooh, okay. So I have a lot of movie things I could say. I'll just focus on the one that I just saw yesterday. The Old Man and the Gun, which is Robert Redford's final film that he's been a part of. And the director, let me pull up his name real quick. He is a director I really love. David Lowery. Oh my God, David Lowery's great. He also directed Robert Redford in Pete's Dragon. And then the other film that he's really known for is Ain't Them Bodies Saints, which is a big movie with Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. And the movie was interesting for several reasons. First of all, it's just heartwarming as anything that I've ever seen. Like, it is beautiful. It is a perfect send-off. Tom Waits I believe he came out of retirement to come and play a role in this. Famous, awesome musician Tom Waits. Danny Glover's in it. He kills. Casey Affleck is good. And the interesting thing, and I don't want to get, I don't know how you guys feel about like political and stuff, although I don't feel like MeToo related issues are like political, but Casey Affleck is one of the Hollywood film stars who's had allegations come out about him while he was making the film with Joaquin Phoenix 10 years ago. I think it was called I'm Still Here. It's like that fake documentary back when Joaquin Phoenix told us all, hey guys, I'm going to be a rapper. Which was, if you haven't seen it, YouTube it. He announces it on David Letterman. He makes Letterman so uncomfortable. It was all for a fake documentary that I think Casey was either directing or being a filmmaker on. Anyways, during that, he sexually harassed one of his coworkers. It was going around for a while, but finally, during the Me Too explosion of the last year, it got more focus, especially after he won an Oscar for Manchester by the Sea.
Was he convicted?
It was settled out of court. But there was a lot of corroborating statements about what he did. Basically, he would just continuously go after one of the workers on the film, even going so far as to lay next to her in her bed in a hotel room, and just repeated propositions for sex. So no like actual assault took place to my knowledge. Right. But anyways, harassment, workplace, not great. So the interesting thing is what I saw on Twitter when The Old Man and the Gun came out. I was worried. I was like, can I even say that I like the film? Like, how do you talk about a film with a guy or a person who is quote unquote problematic, Yeah,
hold on, let me read the movie info.
Sure.
I got it up. Because I don't know anything about this film. But it says,
go right ahead.
The Old Man and the Gun is based on the true story of Forrest Tucker, who is played by Robert Redford. For his, oh dear, I can't even read. So I guess he escapes from San Quentin at the age of 70 to... Oh man, sorry, I can't. I'm like not even able to.
It's all good. I
what
can
is it? What is it?
Sum it up real quick.
It's just I'm trying to summarize it because I got like a long thing.
It's a nice little kind of bank robbery film. It's tonally similar to a movie called I think it's called Going in Style. That's a different film we'll talk about in a minute. But this film is about a bunch of old guys who just rob banks and are really nice. And it's the 80s. So like you could do that. He would like walk into a bank and be like, hey, and he'd like have like a smile, and he's old and he's nice. And that's like the thing that all the bank managers always say is like, one thing about him is that it didn't even feel that dangerous because he was so nice, even though he had a gun and everything. And Casey Affleck is the detective who's like chasing him throughout the film. And you eventually find out that his backstory is that he has been doing this his whole life. And for him, it's not like something he's doing for a living. It's literally living for him to rob these banks. And so there's a lot of nuance and discussions about what does it really mean to be alive, and a lot of cool things. And the performances are just gorgeous. Sissy Spacek is also in it. Wonderful performances all around. But Casey's in it. And I was like, are people going to yell at me? Like, hey, dude, just so you know, Casey Affleck's in that movie. Don't go see it. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Cancel culture. I'm not about it. Karamo Brown of Queer Eye has a great rant about cancel culture. He was a guest on Keep It, which is another great podcast.
Toxic. What is cancel culture exactly?
So cancel culture is just like it's what basically people do when they say, oh, so and so did this, so you can't listen to or watch or do whatever with that person. So Kanye is a big person. Everyone's like,
one person does one slightly wrong thing, and it's the end of their career, according to the internet.
I've always heard that called outrage culture.
Yeah.
It's just like, what? Like, oh.
Now,
Even though
you know,
some people
like,
do need to be canceled, but whatever.
yeah, like
Well, I know people would say that about like, because I really like the film Baby Driver, and I've mentioned that before, but it's got Kevin Spacey in it. So then it's like, so am I not
Kevin
allowed
Spacey's
to
canceled?
Am I not? Yeah, Kevin Spacey is over party, but like, am I not allowed to watch this movie now? And it even came out before
right.
anyone even knew. So it's like, so I basically am punishing.
Just before.
I'm punishing the director that I love just because.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Because he didn't know. Like, he didn't know.
Well, and I think the thing is, what I'm getting at here with The Old Man and the Gun is the cool thing about me looking up tweets about it is that nobody talks about Casey Affleck's performance. And it was great because I was like, oh my God, this is the best way to go
about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk about it.
Like there was a ton of great actors, but you can tell watching that movie that Casey put his heart and soul into that role. You could tell he did research. You could tell he like did all the work necessary. Almost, not quite Manchester by the Sea level, but close. And he's going to get no recognition for it. And no one's going to remember him. And he's going to eventually get replaced by all the other talented people out there who are going to take his place. And I think it's a great punishment.
But hold on.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to research what he did.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
But like, hold up. It sounded like, I don't know. I guess I just wonder about stuff. So we need to end his whole career? Was it that
not
bad?
end the career, but I mean, yeah.
But like he needs to his career, basically he should get no more praise ever again. And like, he should never get recognized and he should get replaced and fall out of, was it that bad?
Well, whatever happens to him
I just
is
feel like,
my business
I know
at
we
the
like,
end of the day.
I know. I'm saying as a fact, I've noticed that we like burn people to stake, whether they raped people or maybe said an inappropriate comment. And it's like, hold up, what's the line there? Just a thought. I do wonder this because it's like,
I have an opinion, but it's not for this podcast.
Okay, so I'll say this. Okay, there are Harvey Weinsteins.
Yes.
Right.
Who have not been whatever.
Right, and we have opinions about what should happen to people like that. And then there is Aziz Ansari's.
Right.
Too, which from what I understand, it was just awkward and weird and there's no connection or something. And then like,
and his career was fine.
Which is good. Right. Cause I don't think, as far as I know,
no one
it just sounds like he had an awkward sexual experience with a girl.
Right.
And then it kind of got blown out of proportion, but like, okay, we're going to end this guy's career because he's a little weird. I don't know. Like what I'm wondering is which end of the spectrum Casey Affleck is teetered towards.
Sure. And there is a lot of space in between Aziz Ansari.
Yeah, they're definitely
Aziz Ansari and Aziz Ansari.
Well, no doubt. Like Harvey Weinstein is like
repercussions also.
Right. Well, so Harvey Weinstein is like the far end of the spectrum and Aziz Ansari is like on the opposite side. Right. And so Casey Affleck, it sounds like I'd have to know what he did, I guess. And I think that's very justified for me to want to know exactly what it is before I burn him to stake, but I do think that whole movement is an interesting movement in general because it's prompting a lot of questions about the innocent until proven guilty or the what should we do about people that have this amount of power that they can cover all this stuff up. And I don't have an answer for it, if I'm being honest. Because it is difficult.
You look at even Google and the founder of Android and how there's a lot of people at Google who just recently popped up and talked about how they did a lot to cover up the CEO of Android who was recently ousted. I don't know if you guys heard about this. It's a pretty new story. New York Times ran it. I believe it was today. But there's a bunch of sources who are speaking, and they had to speak in a case of anonymity because of hardcore non-disclosure agreements that they had to sign when joining their company. But essentially, the CEO of Android, there were some allegations from a woman he was working with who he was having an affair with. And I guess towards the end of it, they were in a hotel room and he forced her to have oral sex with him. And it was essentially rape. And Google
that's
went
tricky,
here and went
where
and,
it's
and
like-
she reported it, and the lawyers met about it, and they declared it a credible allegation. So they were like, this guy needs to go. And Google could have, they could have kind of pulled him right out, but instead they told him to resign, and he got a $90 million severance package.
Right.
$2 million a month for like 4 years or something it was. And so there's a lot of talk about, the bro culture, specifically in the upper echelon of salaries in society. Like, I don't even want to say the tech industry, because there's a lot of people in the tech industry that aren't making this level of money.
Right.
But there is this talk about this culture where, when you hit a certain level of power, there's just like instant protection, and it's not even like protection that someone owes you.
But the opposite side of it too, though, is that when you hit a certain level of power, you're an instant target.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not really taking a side on it, because I just think every situation tends to be different.
Sure.
But I mean, like, I was talking to someone about the whole innocent until proven guilty thing, and one of the issues with, like, well, Luke, most people don't lie about this sort of thing. Like, most people are telling the truth. The problem with that argument is that as soon as you make it guilty until proven innocent, in a way where it's like, well, the allegations were credible, but we didn't technically prove it, but people don't really lie about this. As soon as you do that, then anytime I want to take out a politician, I just got to plant stories about them, pay people, pay actresses to lie. Now, I'm not saying that that's really what's happening, but you got to understand, people got to think about that side of it too. As soon as an allegation or a credible allegation topsides someone's career, anytime you want to end someone's career, and because it's not the women, the thing is, like, or men or whatever, whoever it is that's the victim, it's people that go, hey, I want to get this person out of their job, so I'm going to hire somebody to make allegations against them and plant false stories, because allegations will get someone in trouble. That's the only thing I think people need to make sure they also take into account with this stuff.
And conspiracy theories are a big deal, and things to be aware of. And, the interesting and cool part of this point in history isn't even that every person who comes forward is believed automatically, but that they're listened to, taken seriously, and that there's due diligence put in to make sure the story is either true or not provable.
Right.
And that's really it, because it's guilty and not guilty, right? There's no such thing really as innocent, but there is guilty and then there is not guilty.
Right.
And ultimately, and we can get into that's a pretty long conversation. That when I was bringing up the whole Casey thing, my real purpose behind it was that as a viewer of content, as a consumer, there's questions now, more questions than ever. And it's almost become sort of puritanical, where it's almost like what the hyper Christian movement was doing in the 80s, the Holy Rollers, where they were like, don't watch a Tom Cruise movie because he cheated on his wife. Like, it's almost feeling similar to that. And as a consumer, it's like, well, there are, I don't want to give money to someone who's doing these things. And Casey Affleck is one of those who came out and even said that he had done what he had did. And it was harassment. It was laying next to a female employee in bed drunk and being like, I want to have sex with you. Come on. Right. And like heavy pressure, because he does have power over her, power dynamics, whatnot. And so I just thought it was cool that as viewers, we can watch something that one of these guys is in. We just don't have to talk about him. And look, I'm not saying that has to happen to him for eternity. I think that there's definitely a serving your time type thing. And I think as a society, part of our job is to collectively talk about what that looks like. And I think that people are talking about it. And I think that there's an agreement that we just don't know. I mean, Louis C.K.
I was just saying, that's the rough part about this, is the balance between social pressure, which is a good thing in moderation, and mob mentality and vigilante justice in a way, because after a certain point, rule of law is going to go away, where it's just like, well, we all just decide, even though this person's not guilty, we're going to treat them like they're guilty. And so then it's like, well, then why even have a court case? Because it's not going to matter, right? But then at the same time, I don't know. This is heavy.
Well, then,
This is
well, and then you
really
got
heavy stuff.
well, and then you look at the legal side sometimes, and you got corruption in cases like Brock Turner, right? Like Brock Turner, a guy who two people saw having sex with someone who was unconscious behind a dumpster, and he gets 3 months in prison.
Right.
3 months. I mean, so then you got to understand sometimes the court of public opinion.
But then what was the other side of it too? Because there's two sides to that coin. Wasn't there fake allegations against somebody too? I don't remember who it
not
was.
In his case.
Not him, but I thought there was someone else.
No, for sure. And I mean,
someone got thrown out of a school, I thought, for fake allegations.
Are you thinking a mattress girl?
Well, I don't know. I don't remember who it was. And maybe it wasn't even true. I thought I heard that there was another side to that, like the two sides to the coin.
Well, I know for Brock Turner, I think the judge said the reason why he didn't give him a heavier sentence is because the girl didn't remember anything. And I don't know whether or not, that is...
That's kind of odd.
I mean, she did. She wrote an entire essay on.
So
what
then
she
you just like, this is dark.
I mean, yeah.
But like, you could just roofie someone and be like, well, I didn't remember it, so it's like, well, yeah, guys.
Well, and there were these two international students from Sweden who watched it happen and who had to physically get him off of her. Like, there's plenty of corroborating evidence there. But the judge had said that he just felt like Brock Turner had enough happen to him. He had lost his swimming scholarship, and it's like, the boy needs to learn his lesson. And it's like, dude, he's a legal adult who.
What wasn't there lacrosse team or something? Wasn't that a thing? Wasn't there some story with a lacrosse team?
There was a Duke lacrosse story, and I'm not exactly familiar.
I don't remember what happened with that, but I heard. The thing is, I can't trust anyone.
Yes, okay, that was a case where they were falsely accused of rape. And to your point, Luke, I think that we can end it at this. Like, you are absolutely right. There is a possibility that conspiracies exist, but that's the whole point of. Like,
and if you make it easy to make a conspiracy, more conspiracies will happen.
Right.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
I was just talking to somebody about this, and the problem with the whole, guilty until proven innocent and vice versa, is that you have, to use the MeToo example, people will say, well, people wouldn't just, be open about these allegations because they're going to face so much opposition and everything. But the people who say that are often arguing to remove the opposition. So it's kind of like, oh, well, that won't be a problem because the thing that we want to get rid of keeps it from being a problem. And that's kind of the catch-22 of the situation. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think that when you... Yeah, I think I kind of get what you're saying, and it's similar to what I'm saying, where it's like it's like, oh, well, nobody falsely accuses people of rape ever. Like, that's kind of one of the arguments people have. It's like it barely ever happens, right?
They
but
say,
the problem, hold on.
Why
so
would
like,
they do that when so many people would doubt them?
Right. So the example is that you right now you technically, at least. Oh, man, I got to choose my words carefully on this. This is a heavy topic. I was not ready to talk about a heavy topic. This just sort of happened, so I'm totally unprepared. But like, if I said, okay, if you rob a bank, you will get caught and go to jail. Everyone's like, well, I don't want to get caught and go to jail, so I'm not going to rob a bank. But as soon as it's like, okay, if you rob a bank, you could get away with it now. Everyone, all of a sudden, a lot more people are going to start robbing banks because it's easier to get away with. So the idea is that, well, if you falsely accuse someone, no one falsely accuses anyone of rape. And it's like, yeah, because they can't convict them. But if you make it so that you can convict them, all of a sudden, more people are going to take advantage of that. So it's like, okay, so what's the black and white rule about the innocent until proven guilty? So I get that side of it.
The question is, I don't think that there's anyone who's promoting the concept of guilty until proven innocent.
Not directly, no.
Not directly, and I think even in the case of people who want others to be heard and maybe even who want them to be believed, I think that the follow through isn't necessarily destroying the life of the person before more corroborating evidence comes out. Like Kevin Spacey, for example, when that dropped, I could not believe it. And did not believe it when the first dude came up. Well, I didn't believe it was as bad as it was said because I said, this is one person. I don't know this guy. His career is just kind of burgeoning. It's a terrible story. It's a very detailed story. It could very well be true. but then like 16 others drop, and you're just like, oh my gosh, okay. It was the same with Bill Cosby. I mean, man, I was at William and Mary at the time, quite a progressive university. And when Hannibal Buress dropped that knowledge at that Philadelphia show, I was telling my friends at the Daily Grind coffee shop there, shouts out to Daily Grind, which is about to die, like having its last day pretty soon.
No.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. But you got all these people were like, not Bill Cosby, there's no way, like blah, blah, blah. And it took a while for it to drop. I just think that, you know, sexual assault is a really interesting crime in that it's a particular crime, not interesting, particular in that it involves two people and two stories, and the accuser gets the benefit of the doubt, and that's the way the justice system works. And the hard thing is that sometimes people extend that benefit of the doubt to being beyond just what is legal, and it can affect it can even bias the way they investigate and the level to which and the detail which the investigation is carried out. And I think that's what people are wanting to see more of. And I'm not talking in regards to police. God bless detectives and people who do the real investigative work into stuff like this. But I'm talking in like the media and demonization of women and stuff that kind of traditionally would happen in things like sex scandals, looking at Monica Lewinsky, looking at Marsha, the lawyer who was prosecuting O.J. Simpson. You know, when there were naked pictures of her that were discovered, they were plastered everywhere. Her looks were criticized primarily, even though she was a phenomenal lawyer. And it's just like we're finally in an era where like, all right, we're kind of not doing that anymore. And there is a bit of movement in the other direction. And I think to your point, Luke, that is dangerous as well. And I think, you know, moving from not considering these investigations to now saying burn the person before we even know if it's true or not.
Right.
You know, that is
it's like, why? Well, the question is like, why would they lie? Why would people lie? I'm like, because people lie.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's stuff to gain.
Yeah. And even too, you know, just quickly, and then maybe we can move on. It's your podcast, so it's up to you. But like, it's pretty.
Oh
it's pretty
man,
heavy.
I was not prepared for this at all.
But with Aziz Ansari, I think with Aziz Ansari, the whole freaking culture missed an important moment, an important opportunity to talk about like date etiquette and to talk about things like how to be a decent person to someone on a date and how to not be just a complete douchebag of yourself. Because that's really what happened there. But when you take and almost co-opt the MeToo movement for your own gain, I mean, shouts out to Babe dot whatever it is. I don't even want to give it a shout out, but shout out to them for being garbage. They're a garbage website. There's a garbage article. The girl was editing it at a brunch spot, loudly talking about it in front of a bunch of strangers. And it was just totally unprofessional. The girl was like 22. And like, it could have been a great moment for all of us to say, wow, you know, this is not even just about sexual assault. This is about decency and starting to define how we privately interact with each other. And that's cool. I'm all for that. But they took and they extended it, and it didn't affect his career. But now you've got Aziz Ansari, who was a feminist, modern romance, phenomenal book, master of none, really took on those topics hardcore. And now he's on a stand-up tour being like, the woke movement's too woke, guys. Like that's the theme of his new stand-up tour is like extreme wokeness.
Yeah.
And you know, how it's harming us. And it's sad that that's what he has to focus on now because of what happened to him personally.
Well, it does that with everything. Like everything is, and I say this to most people that I talk to about any extreme topics like this. I'm like, you got to make sure that when you're avoiding the pothole, that you don't go, well, the pothole's on the right, no pun intended. So I'm going to go off the bridge to the left. You know, it's like, okay, don't do that. Just weave the car out of the way. The problem is people pendulum swing like, okay, we have to catch rapists. So no more justice in the courtroom, you know, and it's like, wait a second, hold on. That went way too far. You know, and I'm not saying that's exactly what happened, but people do this on everything. Everything that happens, people swing from one side to the other. And it's like, oh, guys, let's just correct. We don't have to, like, look at things. What's a good example of this?
Well,
I don't have one
I think
that's
a great
not
example
controversial, but
is when it's one of yours. So Asia or Rose McGowan, who was like the face of the Me Too movement, even though she was not the founder, of the Me Too movement, but she was a big face of it initially because she was one of the big Harvey Weinstein accusers early on.
Right.
And then her friend, who was another Harvey Weinstein accuser, Asia Argento, whose boyfriend Anthony Bourdain recently passed away, a big scandal broke where she was having sex with an underage boy. And the boy reported her for it. And Rose McGowan's first reaction was, hey, guys, let's be careful of the accusations. We got to be gentle. And it's when it's happening to your own person, like that, we all got to understand, we all got to be careful with this. But there are bad guys to catch, y'all. There are real ass bad guys out there. And they deserve to go down. But like, be careful that you don't burn the whole village down trying to catch some really evil people, because there are evil people out there, but not everyone else. But I just want to say a quick word on cancel culture real quick. I do got to go soon, but Karama.
We just like went down this road.
That's
sorry about that.
All started. It's all good. So Karama Brown of Queer Eye, he is the culture expert. He's wonderful. He's really, though, the mental health specialist for people on the show. For those of you who don't know, Queer Eye is a show where a bunch of gay men come and meet with mostly straight men, some cis, some transgender, and kind of help better their lives through fashion, through food, through emotions, and through like skincare and hair care and whatnot. And it's really, really cool and really beautiful. Go watch it if you haven't. It's on Netflix. But Karamo Brown, he's on a podcast recently. He was a guest on it. It was called Keep It, hosted by Ira Madison III and a few other people. It's part of Crooked Media's big podcast empire. Crooked Media guys do Pod Save America.
Right.
And so Keep It is a podcast where they're pretty much doing cancel culture the whole time. It's basically like, let's talk about politics and pop culture intersecting, but like, let's really talk about who we can't talk about anymore. Who are we going to cancel? And, you know, so Kanye West was a big theme recently, and they rant a lot. And it's like, it does, you know, when you want to vent about something and you want to hear people who agree with you, it's a really great podcast to listen to. The shade is so strong on there. It's amazing. I really love it. But
throwing that shade.
But Karamo Brown had a lot of good things to say about cancel culture and how toxic it can be, because when you're the one who's being canceled, you know, watch out. And he talks about how there's so much more productivity that can happen when you realize that when you're not talking to them and they're not talking to you, no one's talking, nothing happens. But if you're trying to do everything you can, even if it's going to be useless, but you're doing everything you can to move the hearts of those you disagree with, how much more beautiful a world you could be creating if you are effective. And so he, as a Black queer man in America, met with Karen Pence, who is currently campaigning with someone, I don't remember which state it is for, but they're trying to campaign for House of Representatives. And the guy believes that homosexuality itself should be illegal. And so that's crazy. Karamo Brown goes and meets with Mike Pence's wife because he knows that she has the ear of Mike Pence, and that maybe, just maybe, if they hear from a real life queer person, yo, the laws you're advocating for are going to affect me in this way. Karamo believes that that's really what's going to make change. With Kanye, he says it's much better to go to Kanye and advocate that he gets back on his meds than to completely pretend he doesn't exist, because he's like, Kanye is going to find other people who are also canceled, and he's going to form bonds with them, and it's going to
there is something about,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about this, unfortunately, so I can't comment on it much, but
well, it's essentially this whole culture of, you know, I mean, you've heard of it in other words, but it's basically like they did something bad, they are no longer a person we're going to talk about, or we're only going to throw shade at them.
That's so weird, because then it goes underground.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem with it, is like, if you cast people out, now you've made them a martyr.
Yeah.
Good or bad, you know? And so you got to be careful about that sort of thing. So I know you said you had to get going, Caleb.
Yeah, I'm going to head out, guys. But thank you so much. It was a true blessing to be on again. I love this podcast. Love all of you. Have a great rest of your evening.
Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate all you brought to the podcast today.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye dude. Okay. So if it's not obvious to the listener, we had a very tentative plan on this episode, and I was not ready for that. And so Caleb really took the floor and brought in a good topic. I just wish that I was more prepared to comment on it. So Shayne, you want to see mid-90s?
I mean, I do. I want to see it. I just I mean, I haven't, like, I don't really have much to say about it. I haven't seen the entire trailer yet. I just had watched an interview with Jonah Hill talking about it. And I just agreed with a lot of just related to a lot of the things he was saying about like feeling like his first part of his career, the first 10 years, he felt like he was playing, or what, I forgot exactly how he worded it, but he said something like he was playing in other people's things, so he never kind of felt like people were seeing himself. They felt like they were just seeing like a certain shade of him. So he felt like this movie he directed it. I think he's acting in it too, but this is the first time that he feels like this represents him, like, as a person. And so when people have those type of things, I feel like it's going to be good, so I want to see it. And also it has to do with music and hip hop in the 90s culture, or not yet, and 90s time period, which is like the best time for it. So yeah, it seems like a really good film. Seems like it's going to be really good for the community of
Yeah, I think that
people.
I'm excited just to see it because of
And I like Jonah Hill. I think he's great. I've always liked him. So
yeah, I like the idea of just seeing the 90s now that the 90s are becoming kind of
Yeah.
a distant thing. It's becoming retro, where I'm like, 10 years ago, the 90s was such a nerdy time looking back on it.
yeah.
But now it's like the 80s or the 60s where you start to look back on it. It's like,
Oh, yeah,
dude, that
the
was such a
90s
cool time,
Yeah, the 90s is about to like make its comeback. It's coming.
Yeah, it's I'm excited to see it. I saw the trailer on Instagram or something like that, and so I kind of had an interest. But guys, I unless we want to talk about anything else, I think we're gonna wrap this episode up quickly. I think it's gonna be a shorter episode. We talked a lot about some heavy stuff, and I'm worn out now. So, is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we finish up here?
No. Well, no. I had kind of something to mention. It's okay.
Do you want to mention it in the plugs, or do you want to?
No. It's not. It's nothing. It's okay.
You sure? You can talk
Yeah,
about it.
sure.
Okay.
No. It's fine.
Okay. All right. So, Austin, do you have any plugs?
People should listen to less pop music.
What did he say? People should listen to less pop music.
Yeah,
No, people should listen to
you.
more pop music. More. Just, the good stuff, not the bad stuff.
Shayne, do you have any plugs?
Yeah, I've said this entire podcast, you can check out the Pop Talk podcast. I host that, where we talk about new music and pop culture events, and we also do interviews with local artists and small business owners and things of that nature. So you can check us out on SoundCloud and iTunes at Pop Talk. Pop Talk you'll find on the socials for that as well: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And yeah, also I guess I have an upcoming vlog coming.
Woo!
I don't know exactly where that's going to be uploaded yet, but if you follow any of my social media, then you'll probably see it. But Luke edited that vlog, and
Yay!
it's weird because like I edit videos and I've edited myself in a ton of videos, so I kind of have developed my own style. So watching Luke's edit of myself was weird. It just felt like I was watching a different person because I just didn't know what was going to happen next. I was like, I don't even know what's going. Every time I watch it, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen next. What's happening? Like, who is this person?
What did I do? Yeah. The funny thing too is, it's like it's edited like one of my vlogs, but it's you.
Yeah, it is for sure. Like that's some parts like I feel like you. Like I said, I feel like Luke. Like, what's going on? It's weird, but I think that obviously you haven't seen it yet, people listening, but I really feel like Luke did a great, without me saying anything, maybe just from watching the videos, I did a really great job at making the vlog feel how like it felt vlogging it like in real time, if that makes sense.
Right. Because it's like when you if you've ever watched a movie, you watch a movie with a fight in it, and it's like you feel like you're really getting beat up. But if you ever watch like a World Star video of people fighting, it doesn't feel like the same impact. No pun intended. But like with a vlog, if you watch someone recording themselves, it's like, oh, well, I'm just watching this little video. But if you edit it right, you kind of feel like you're there with them, and it recreates the feeling. And that's good. That's good to hear.
Like the vlog was fun, and like what I was doing was fun. So it was like, oh, like it actually looks like I had fun, and I did. So it all like, kind of fit together. But that's like a more detailed like thing. But yeah, my Twitter, Mr. McCatty, MrMccatty. Follow me, talk to me. That's also my Instagram if you want to do that. And yeah, that's all I got. Well, I'm doing a play this weekend as well too that I co-directed. So I am we're doing another performance next week as well on Halloween, and I'm gonna film it. I don't know the logistics of me being able to post it. I'll have to talk to someone about that, but I'm pretty sure I'll be able to, so I'll post that. So if people want to watch that as well, that'll be in my channel. So yeah.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, check out Shayne's vlog. We'll figure out where to upload it. I still have the final edit that I just got to send him like in high quality and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I got to, yeah.
And we'll figure out where to put it. So, or where you can upload it. So, you can follow me on Instagram at Luke Roxwold, LukeRocks. I am always posting on there now, really active on Instagram. You can also follow our podcast, WAITSB Podcast, where you can participate in questions and polls. You can message us. You can basically get in tune with this podcast. It's the best place to do it. You can hear about our episodes and message us. It's great, right? Follow us on Instagram. That's it. Thanks for listening, everyone. This was an interesting episode. Hopefully, some of the heaviness wasn't too heavy, and the funniness was funny. Thanks so much for being a part of our family. And outro music.
Outro music.
I tried to lead up into it. It didn't work.